Hi, this is Don Carter. Welcome to this session entitled Ego State Projection. This is a great way to meet and get to know your inner family of self. And this is a session you can come back to often as you surface new issues or get to know the inner landscape and work with your system of parts. It's been said many times that one cannot have a good relationship with others unless they first have a good relationship with themselves. And one cannot truly love another unless they truly love themselves. The following is a powerful method for sorting out and getting to know the inner family of self so that you can begin to develop more self-awareness, build rapport and connection with your parts, and open lines of communication between the parts to initiate a healing process. All it requires is an active imagination and the ability to hallucinate without the use of drugs. Remember, there's no right way to do this. I've never seen any two people do ego state projection the same way. We all have our own unique map of the world. We all have our own unique personality configuration. So there is no right way. There's only your way, whatever's right for you. So if you're ready, let's begin the ego state projection exercise. We begin by remembering that there are 5 general ego states within the child ego state. There's the natural child, which is the fun-loving part of self that loves to explore, go on adventures, and taste everything in life. And there's that little professor, which is the computer in the child. It's the adult without much wisdom or life experience yet. It's like a computer that doesn't have much programming. Really, it's the subconscious mind of a child. The little professor is the part of us that figures things out. It's the smart little kid in all of us. It's the one that watches and learns and decides how to get what we need, even if it's not okay to ask. So far we have the natural, fun-loving child, the little professor, and then there's the vulnerable, needy child. This is the youngest and most vulnerable part of us. As the youngest part of our personality, this is the part that has developed in the earliest formative years of our life. The part that was totally dependent on our caretakers, unable to defend itself. The vulnerable, needy child helps us to connect with others, but it also carries the pain of abandonment and the original pain of not getting childhood dependency needs met. And then there's the angry, defiant child. This is the part of us that comes along a little bit after the vulnerable, needy one, first appearing in the terrible twos. But the official debut for the angry, defiant one isn't until around puberty, making the teenage years the era of the angry, defiant child. This is the part of us that helps us separate. It helps us say no. It helps us resist and endure and set healthy boundaries. This part, the angry, defiant part, is the part of us that goes into action whenever a fight response is triggered, giving us a boost of adrenaline and helping us to feel a sense of empowerment and strength. And the critical parent is the child ego state pretending to be a parent. We've all seen that 5-year-old pretending to be mommy or daddy. Well, this is the part of us that gets socialized to the culture of family. And this is the part of us that records all of the shoulds and the musts and the ought-tos delivered by the parenting that we got. There are some shoulds and musts that are helpful. Others may not be so helpful. One should is look both ways before crossing the street, which can be helpful. Another one may be one should never trust people. That might be somewhat limiting. The critical parent can be the essence of a critical adult in our life as well, Maybe not just the verbal messages that are being sent, but the role modeling of criticism. Now, it's important to note that while the vulnerable needy child and the angry defiant child and the critical parent child are the parts of us that carry the woundedness, they are also important, valuable parts of our personality later in life. Again, the vulnerable, needy part of us helps us let our guard down and connect with others, allowing them in. The angry, defiant part helps us maintain our sense of self or separateness and set healthy boundaries. And the critical part of us helps us to look for obstacles and plan for difficulties that may arise. We all need to be critical thinkers. We just don't need the shame that can go with that. It's the woundedness that affected each one of these parts that needs to be attended to. So again, we have the natural fun-loving child, the little professor, the vulnerable needy child, the angry defiant child, and the critical parent child. Now, if you're ready to meet these parts of you, we need to enter into or create a safe space inside your mind's eye. If you've already listened to the Create Your Sanctuary session, you can find or create this safe space within your sanctuary. If you've not yet created your sanctuary, that's okay. You can create a safe space to meet these inner children and add it to your sanctuary later. This meeting place can be a formal conference room, or a living room in a mountain cabin, or a clearing in the wood beside your favorite trail, or just off the beach under a tall palm tree. In short, it can be anywhere you want. The only requirement is that it's safe. So now imagine that you're sitting in a comfortable position in this space, and all of your inner children are waiting just outside. In a moment, we're going to ask all 5 of these child-created parts of you to come into that space, but only one at a time. So if you're ready, ask them to come in one at a time and sit or stand wherever they want. Remember to use the 8 C's as you meet each child. Be curious, compassionate, connected, clear thinking, confident, courageous, calm, and creative. This tells you that you are in your true self energy. Now, if you feel something other than these 8 C's, there's likely to be a protector blending with you. Ask it to take one step to the left or right and stand down while you do this experience. Usually they will do that. Sometimes they won't budge until you pause the exercise and work with that part to find out what it needs from you. Now, using your intuition, with curiosity and compassion, which would be the first ego state or part of you that would step forward and be with you in this space now? Allow them to choose who comes in first. Just ask yourself, who would be the first one to step into the room or this space? Be curious and just let it happen. And as it happens, notice everything you can about this first part of you that comes in. Which one is it? Is it the natural child, the little professor, the vulnerable needy one, the angry defiant child, or the critical parent child? Notice where it's sitting or standing in the space. And how is this part dressed? Notice the facial expression and body posture. What can you gather from looking at those that may suggest anything about how this part may feel? And ask yourself, How do you feel in the presence of this part of you? Do you feel compassion and curiosity? Do you like this part or not like this part? Maybe you even want to ask the part, how does it feel about being here with you right now? And as we continue, don't be surprised if a part of you is represented as a boy and another part as a girl. We all have a masculine and feminine side, but there are also gender-specific roles handed down by society and families that make certain behavior okay in a boy that's not okay for a girl, and vice versa. So don't be surprised. And if you get a sense that one or two parts are just not willing to come forward at all, they may seem to be outside playing or peeking in a doorway or hiding around the corner or just off riding their bike somewhere. When a part of you resists cooperating or being present or separates itself from the group, just notice that and take it as a sign of the nature of the relationship that you have with this part of you. Now ask yourself, who would be the next one to come into this space? Would it be the natural child, the little professor, the vulnerable needy one, the angry defiant child, or the critical parent? And where does this part locate? Is it sitting or standing? And how is the part dressed? How does it present itself? What about facial expression and body posture? And how do you feel in the presence of this part? And ask the part, how does it feel being here with you? Very good. Now imagine which would be the third part of you to come into the room or space, and where would it locate itself? Notice if it's sitting or standing. What does the body language and facial expression say? How's it dressed? How does it carry itself? How do you feel being here with this part? And how does the part feel about being here with you? Very good. And which is the fourth part to come into the space? Is it the natural, fun-loving child? The creative little professor? The angry, defiant one? The vulnerable, needy child? Or the critical parent? And where does this part locate itself in the room or space? Is it sitting or standing? How's it dressed? Notice the body language. Notice how you feel and how the part feels. Now do this one more time with the fifth part of you. Is it the natural, fun-loving child? The creative little professor? The angry, defiant child? The vulnerable, needy one? Or the critical parent child? And where does this part locate itself in the room or space? Is it sitting or standing? How's it dressed? How does it present itself? And what does the body language express? Notice how you feel toward the part and how this part feels toward you. Very good. Now, if you've had difficulty getting one part to show up, it may be that you've disowned that part. In other words, you've cut yourself off from it or pushed that part deep down inside. Sometimes an internalizer who is all about others and pleasing others will disown or push away out of awareness the angry, defiant part. Likewise, an externalizer who's all about themselves has a tendency to disown their vulnerable, needy part. So they might have trouble visualizing that part of them. Just do the best you can and get as much participation as possible in whatever way seems right for you, without trying to force anything. Now, while they're all here in this space with you, ask each one of them to pick a name for themselves. Each part can choose a nickname or its age, like the 4-year-old or the 10-year-old or the 16-year-old. Or it can choose a feeling to describe itself. It can be anything it wants to be. The important thing is that we know what that name is and which part we're speaking with at any given time. Now, you can finish up here by making a journal entry and drawing a picture of each part of your inner children. And sometimes it helps to draw 2 pictures. One picture of all the parts getting along with each other when things are going well. Another picture of the parts in conflict with each other. Once you've completed this ego state projection exercise, you've accomplished a very important step in sorting out and getting to know your family of self better. When these parts are in conflict with each other, and all of them are inside your body, you have what's called simultaneous incongruence. Incongruence means in conflict or out of sync with each other. In other words, they're all running around inside, doing their own thing, making things hard to sort out, perhaps causing commotion or chaos and internal confusion. But when you project them out into a room or space around you, you now have sequential incongruence. They may still be in conflict, but at least they're in a position to communicate with. When they're all sorted out spatially, where you can work with them individually, one at a time in sequential order, and you can introduce them to each other, building cohesiveness, connection, relationship, opening lines of communication. And you can ask them what they need or want. Building rapport and relationship as you befriend each one of them can help you get to know and take care of your inner parts. And you can begin to do the integrative journaling exercises with a visual image and a better understanding of each of the parts. This ego state projection process and the integrative journaling exercises are included in Chapter 13 of my book, Thaw, Freedom from Frozen Feelings. Thanks for listening to this session, and remember to come back here anytime you need to. You've created a safe place to have a meeting with your inner parts, and the group that you meet with may change from one issue to the next, because all you need are the relevant parts of self involved in that issue. So this meeting space can be valuable in therapy going forward, or in any work you do with any of your parts. Thanks for listening to this session. I'll see you in the next one.